Thank you for inviting me.
Oh yes, this is a huge thing you have coming up. But before I talk about that, can I talk to you a minute about the garden and how beautiful it looks? And Eddie Crawford is right when he says it is the greenest and the most colorful of all the gardens there.
Oh, I think so, yes. In addition to our...
And well maintained.
Well, yes. And those are our wonderful volunteers, that come from both sides, east side and west side of Cleveland, and they unite together. And of course, Char Crowley is the woman in charge of our volunteers, and also the woman that's, really created the beautiful look of the flowers, and the vegetation in our garden, I think, far surpasses any of the other gardens.
Yes.
So in addition to the wonderful monuments and all the help that Eddie Crawford has given us and his donors, then we also have the other facet of the gorgeous beauty of the flowers. It is really lush, just gorgeous.
Wasn't it wonderful the way Eddie conscripted everybody to join his effort in the restoration of the garden, wasn't it?
Well, he's got a great army of friends, I'll tell you that, and they respond to him very well.
Yes, indeed. It really is a credit to Eddie and the Irish. And you know what? One of the things he always says to me, he says, I don't care, he says, if a person donates $5 to that. He says, it's important that it become part of the community, that you feel like you're part of the effort that made this thing happen. He says, you don't have to be given $1 million. He says, $5, $10, anything. He says, we'll take it, and then you'll become part of this great effort.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Right. Very unselfish approach to it. I think it's very nice of him to do that. And we're looking forward to having him back on the program here in a couple of weeks. I'm sure we're going to talk a bit about the garden, and it's going to be talked about at the ball.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
sure when
looking forward to that.
When he speaks at the ball, I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about the garden. Because, in spite of all the success he's had in the world of business, and he's a hugely successful person in the world of business, he employs almost 5,000 people, his favorite subject to talk about is the Irish Cultural Garden. Isn't that something?
Well, he's made quite an impact, and of course, and all of it was just for our Irish heritage, for the Irish of Cleveland to take pride in this beautiful historical place, and then to honor our cultural icons, our wonderful writers, and it's just a beautiful place for that.
Now let's talk about your big event, not yours, but the community's big event, One World Day, coming up 2 weeks from this weekend.
Yes, 2 weeks from this weekend. So this will be our 68th consecutive annual One World Day celebration. And so that tradition in itself is really remarkable. And our gardens are dedicated to peace through understanding. And so all of the gardens get together in their nationalities, and they may have had combative past, but none of that makes any difference when you're in the gardens. And all of the nationalities join in and celebrate each other's cultures, and that's the best part. So One World Day was started that many years ago, and last year we decided that we needed to make it a bigger event, and so we expanded it into a whole day instead of just an afternoon celebration. And then this year we decided to expand it to 2 days. Last year we had about 10,000 people come, and we had 5 stages and a tremendous amount of entertainment and food vendors and ethnic garden presentations. And people just had a wonderful time last year. They strolled up and down Martin Luther King Boulevard and East Boulevard. They had picnic lunches in the gardens, and some people just stretched out and rested, and they listened to all the beautiful entertainment. You could go from both ends of the garden and see all sorts of acts, not just on the stages, but there'll be people just standing on the sidewalks and doing magic tricks or telling jokes or making balloons, or we had plays in the garden. We had Midsummer's Night's Dream. We had a Greek drama in the Greek garden. I mean, it was just absolutely fabulous last year. So this year it's going to be 2 days long, and we think it'll be even better.
Too bad we don't have the whiskey makers here, and Eddie could do the sampling.
Well, we will have alcoholic beverages. I mean, we do have city permits, and so there'll be beer and alcohol from around the world. You can get different kinds and try them. It'll be a wonderful part of it.
I must mention this, not to interrupt you, but I have to. because I won't remember it later. We are having brand new whiskey, a whiskey company at the Mayo Convention this year. They just started making the whiskey. Well, they've been I think it's been aging for several years, of course, called Nathan Whiskey from County Mayo. It's made in Mayo. First new distillery that has opened in Ireland in years.
Oh, my.
Because all of the Irish whiskey now is owned by that French company. Did you know that? Pretty much.
I have heard that,
Guinness.
yes.
And so this is a native distilled Irish whiskey, and it's going to be for the first time ever in America at the convention.
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
excited about it. I might just go back on this stuff again.
Oh, don't do that.
There'll
Just
be
taste
there'll be no radio program. It'll be Eddie and Colleen every Sunday morning in JC. All right, I'm sorry to interrupt, John. Go
Sheila,
ahead.
I just wanted to say about parking. I mean, what a great opportunity to walk the different gardens because the streets, it'll be easily walkable that day. But what do you recommend for parking for our West Side friends or people getting over there to the East Side to the Irish Cultural Gardens?
Well, the parking, we're going to have several different parking areas, and of course, they're going to be free. The whole activity is free for people, and that's why we'd love you all to come. But the biggest one is the VA garage at 105th and Magnolia. I think it holds over 3,000 cars. And between that and the Mount Sinai parking area, which is on Ansel Road at 105th. Those are the two major parking areas, and then there'll be shuttle buses that'll run every 15 minutes. You could just walk into the garden from there. It's really not far, but if you wanted to take the bus, then the buses will be running every 15 minutes to get you down into the gardens. And then there will be some other areas of parking. They're working on it every day, trying to get a few more spaces and a few more large areas that we can move people from. Gordon Park would be another one that they're working at, trying to get people to park there and then run the shuttle from there.
Mm-hmm. All right, there'll be lots of food, entertainment.
Lots of food. We have 30 food vendors coming, and a lot of them represent different ethnic foods. The Nationality Gardens will be selling some of their nationality food, or at least having desserts that you could pick up. And then about 40 vendors just selling different kinds of wares that you might be interested in. And also, I should say, when we're talking about parking, Martin Luther King will be totally shut off both days, which is just a fantastic accomplishment for us because it's such a main thoroughfare. They really don't like us, even asking to shut it off. But they agreed, and so from at least, I think, 11 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday, September 13th and 14th, you won't be able to drive down Martin Luther King.
So, I mean, families like with bikes or even walking or rollerblading and things like that. I mean, it's a great way to experience those gardens.
Yes,
Bring
and
my
you know,
rollerblades.
Bring the
that's for sure.
rollerblades,
Yes,
I'm
and
telling
Biking
you.
down there.
Yes,
Well, they're going to rent
a lot of
bikes.
fun.
They're
That's
going to have a
cool.
station
That's
where you can
awesome.
get into the garden, rent a bike, and then you can drive up and down
Great.
Martin Luther King, stop at all the gardens,
Yes.
get back on your bike, and keep going. It should be a great affair.
Sheila, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do they have, is there any thought about putting the bust of Victor Herbert back in the park, or on our gardens?
When you return it, Eddie,
Well, certainly, we've kept the pedestal, and because that was one of the first and only structures that we had in the garden for decades. So the pedestal is there. It's in a very nice position, and yes, someday we would love to replace the bust that was on it. Absolutely.
And I didn't take it.
it begins at what time on Saturday? Saturday morning?
On Saturday, September 13th, the activities start at 1 o'clock with a huge parade, and it's going to go from the Czechoslovakian Garden up on East Boulevard to the Italian, and then down into Martin Luther King, and then across heading south, where the main stage is going to be.
Where's the main stage?
It's near our kiosk, which is pretty much in the middle of MLK. It's just a
Is it
little
near
bit.
the Irish Garden or farther
No, not
north?
really. It's closer to the Ukrainian Garden
Okay.
and the African American Garden. It's a little bit of south of that area.
So that's a nice walk, though, all the way up MLK. A lot of people never get a chance to do that, so here's a great chance.
And
to
the
actually-
parade will be huge. We have the Collinwood High School Band marching in it, and we have a lot of people that are doing different kinds of performances on their way through. And then, of course, all the nationality gardens carrying their flags, and that's the beautiful part to see. Many of them come by in ethnic costumes, and walk through carrying their flags. And then they will line up around the stage and will start the One World Day ceremony, the event that's actually gone on for 67 years, at 2 o'clock. And that'll go till about 3:30.
Is that Saturday now?
That's Saturday, yes. And it culminates in a naturalization ceremony, which we think is just perfect, that all these new people to America who've chosen us as their home country, what an honor. And they come and they are sworn in officially and they become citizens from wherever countries they've come from. They become Americans in the cultural gardens. What a perfect way to finish.
Didn't we have swearing in a couple of years ago there, or was it last year that I saw it?
Well, it happens every year
Every
now.
year, okay.
It's become a real permanent part of our activities on One World Day. And although it didn't in history, but it has for probably the last 5 years at least, but that's been a main key. And then after that, we're having the International Folk Festival, which was a great Irish tradition here. I don't know if you remember it, but it used to be in the Palace in Playhouse Square years ago. And they've kept it up. You know, it struggled for a while, but now we think it's found a home in our One World Day. So the International Folk Festival will continue and be part of the
And
events.
that's when?
That's Saturday at 4 o'clock, right after the One World Day program.
What time will it wrap up on Saturday evening?
On Saturday, it finishes at 9 o'clock, and on Sunday, it opens at 1 and finishes at 7.
Great, great. We'll talk somewhere. You're not leaving us yet.
Okay.
We still have lots of time here. Talk to HK. What was that we heard from Denise
Yes.
McConville? What is that she said?
We heard
about
from
Gerry?
Yeah, congratulations to the Carey team and
Yeah.
David Moran, son of Ogie and Anne Moran, up the kingdom.
Sore
and so
subject here.
It's a sore subject, but I'll tell you, I wonder what my friend Diane Gallagher Rice did over there in Mayo. She married a Carey man, so I'm sure there was some fighting in that house.
Well, wait a minute. What about my house?
I know you got a Carey woman over there, right?
She called me bragging. I was in the office doing some work,
poor
and she
Mayo.
called me bragging about Kerry winning. She said, "I don't know the score, but all that matters is they won." She could get,
No compassion for you at all, right?
Oh God, none. Sheila.
Oh, God.
Hey, a few months ago, we had the Willis clan here on the program. They're a fabulous group. They've been on America's Got Talent. I don't know if you saw them or not. They have their own TV show. They're regulars here.
Yes.
Sheila, let's get back here to this Sunday, because I'm planning on attending this event when we leave the program here on Sunday. So it'll be starting right after about 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Yes, it starts at 1 o'clock. You know, and there's tremendous activities all day for everyone. For example, we have a passport program, and that's for young children. And they'll get a passport and they can travel to the different nationality gardens, and they have to either learn a word of that language or do a little dance or find out a historical person, and then they get a stamp on their passport from that country. And it'll be a great activity for the young children. We also have sports. We have basketball games. You can sign up a team if you'd like. And the Cavs are bringing down the hoops for us on Saturday. And we have ping pong and we have futsal. And all those are competitive sports. But then there's also demonstrative sports that you can participate in, like ping pong. And of course you can participate in the basketball too. And there's volleyball, badminton. And it will just be a great activity for that too. So there are 5 stages and then all these other activities going on in between. The 70 vendors and each of the nationality gardens will be doing things in their gardens too that aren't even listed, you know. Like
What do you think the Irish will be doing?
Well, on Sunday, the Cleveland Ceilidh Club is coming, and so they're going to, starting at 2 o'clock, they're going to do a demonstration of some of their Ceilidh dances, and then they'll even have an audience participation section, and we hope everybody will get up and learn how to dance, so that should be a wonderful activity. We're really happy the Cleveland Ceilidh Club will come and help us out, and you know that's East and West, that's, you know, combining all of us together that love Irish dancing, so that'll be a great activity.
And we're expecting how many?
Well, probably last year we had 10,000, so we're hoping, you know, to increase that by a significant number.
I think you'll double it this year.
We hope. And, you know, we're getting ready for our 100th anniversary of the Cultural Gardens, and that's in 2016. So all of this is to get people used to coming to the gardens and celebrating, so that when we hit 2016, we'll just have numbers like the old days, you know, when there used to be, you know, tens of thousands of people come to the gardens.
Well, I think the great thing is that the streets will be closed all the way from the freeway.
From the freeway, all the way south,
Up to
probably to,
Almost Chester Avenue.
yeah, 105th at least, yes.
Mhm.
There's a website you could go to, clevelandoneworldfestival.org, and you could get a tremendous amount of information. But they're bringing in international artists. They're flying people over from Europe and from Israel, and Cleveland Orchestra's children's chorus is performing, and all sorts of huge events over the 5 stages over 2 days, Saturday from 1 to 9 o'clock, and Sunday the 14th of September from 1 to 7 o'clock. So there'll be a tremendous amount of entertainment for all ages, women, men, children, grown-ups, plays. It'll be absolutely fabulous.
Okay, tell